So it's breakfast time, right?
Yep.
And we're getting the we're going health breakfast this morning. So we're, stopping at the healthiest restaurant in the entire world, which is going to be McDonald's. So I'm getting the 0-calorie McMuffin something or other, and I think Parker's getting the veggie burger or something. So that way we've got enough energy to go out there and catch the fish. We're about 15 minutes away from our destination, and we'll be ready to go. We're full. Now we're going to feed the fish so that they can not be full, but caught or something like that. Right?
Yep.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
Kidding me.
I don't know much about where we're going.
Okay.
I just know we're going there to fish, and we're gonna catch big fish.
So what have you heard?
That there's big fish and
Okay.
lots of them.
All right. There are big fish, lots of them. All right. Hasta la pasta.
So we made it there before daylight, but there's a check-in process, and you have to prove that you have a fishing license and pay a few dollars to launch. And then you tell them which lake you want to fish. And as long as it's not full, then you're able to go ahead and fish that lake. So we got there actually just before the sun was really coming up and got offloaded.
My butt is in the camera. Flip it over.
All the way. Lift it up. Okay, go straight down there. Straight to the point. Don't go on the concrete. Go straight over there.
Okay. I don't want to get these shoes away.
So we now have everything ready to go. We're pretty much loaded up, and we're getting ready to start our day. And as you can see, the sun is just coming up. I have 4 rods with me today, and I have several different baits that I'll have tied on throughout the fishing day. I started with a white swim jig, and as you can see, I'm using some of my vintage reels. They're Quantum 1310s. They still work great, so if it's not broke, I say don't fix it. But the idea is it's kind of cool in the morning. It's going to end up being much warmer throughout the day. But I thought I might be able to use a swim jig with about a 1/4 ounce head and get some action just kind of working it through the weeds and swimming it along the edges of all the tree overhangs. And you'll see there's no shortage of shoreline to fish here. And we were just really looking for an opportunity to kind of try and hook up with something and figure out a pattern as usual. Pretty much what you guys do. Let me just take a minute to go through my gear list for the day. So we'll just start with first my paddle. I have a Bending Branches carbon fiber Angler Pro, and you can see it's in camouflage. It pretty much matches my boat. I actually won that paddle in a contest on Kayak Bass Fishing's channel, and I fish a lot of the KBF tournaments. And a little over a year ago, they were doing a contest, and I happened to randomly get selected for this paddle, and I have used it ever since. We use bending branches, and I've always used bending branches pretty much since day one with our kayaks. But this is really a step above. I mean, this is a $300 and some paddle, and it feels like a $300 and some paddle. And if you have not had the opportunity to paddle a bending branches paddle, try out the Angler Pro, and it's actually adjustable. I'm able to adjust it approximately 15 centimeters. So I believe it's a 245 millimeter. I may have said centimeters before, but millimeter paddle, and you can adjust it out to the 245, or you can take up to 15 off, which would take it about to 230. And that just depends on your size, on what type of boat you're paddling, but it really comes in handy, and it feels great. You can paddle with it all day long. So you can see I'm kind of flipping right now. I'm just taking an opportunity to pitch into the tree line, and I saw a little bit of movement there, and thought that I could possibly get the lure up in there in the area without creating too much disruption by flipping it in there. And obviously I didn't catch anything, but that's one of the ways you can get in some of those tight areas. But let's talk about my fishing rods. The fishing rods I use are not anything fancy. Almost all of them come from a discount store or something like that. I may occasionally pick up one from Bass Pro Shop or something, but I don't have a rod deal with anybody. The most expensive rod I have is a G Loomis, and that's probably 15 years old. If I could afford to spend $200-300 on a rod, I'd probably buy more G Loomis, because any rod that's going to last 15 or 20 years is well worth the money. But it's a mix and match for the rods for me. I like to go with several different sizes, and we can go through that at a later date. But all the reels that I have are old vintage Quantums. Now I have a bunch of other reels. I just did not bring them, and I believe there may be one Fluger that is on this trip, but I have them spooled with several different types of line. The one that I was kind of pitching with the swim jig has braided line.
All right, so we're out here on Tenoroc Lake. So far it's been a slow start. Got a small Booyah spinnerbait on. Got a Booyah swim bait. I've got a Yum Dinger Cinco type bait on. And we have seen some fish jumping and a little bit of action, but we haven't seen any fish in the boat yet. But we're gonna keep trying. Parker's over there. He's running the Predator 13 and trying to catch fish, and I'm running the Predator XL and trying to catch fish. So we're gonna see what happens. Not what I had in mind. But that's what we're doing.